Okay, well, welcome everybody. We have an opportunity to visit with our brand new team member, Jill Miller. And we've known Jill for several years, but now it seems like the Lord has put us together to work in this ministry in the counseling arena. So we're thankful for what God is doing. Thankful for Jill. We just want to ask a few questions, Jill, and that way our audience can get to know you a little better. So we'll just start with just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family. Tell us who you are.
Okay, well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Elaine. My name is Jill Miller. I have been married to my best friend and helpmate for going on 29 years. And we have two stepchildren who are grown. Both of them have three sons. So I have six grandsons, three here locally, three far away. And then my husband and I have my son, Charlie, who is 23 and recently engaged. We are very excited. I have been a school teacher for the last 19 years and just retired. It's very bittersweet, loved what I did, but I'm very excited for the direction God's leading me in. And that's just kind of a summary of who I am and my family.
Tell us a little bit, Jill, about how you grew up, where you grew up, what kind of things went on in your life before you got married.
I had quite an interesting life, to say the least. My parents were married up until I was about 7 years old. They got divorced. I don't remember a lot of their married life. I think there was a lot of dysfunction going on. And I think me being the youngest, I kind of just chose to, thankfully, God blessed me with a very cheerful disposition, and I kind of held on to that. And then we moved to a farm in Virginia. We lived there for 7 years. I loved the country. We were in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, most beautiful place to this day I've ever lived. And I've lived in a lot of places. But after 7 years of struggling and hardship and poverty, my mom realized we couldn't stay in that situation. So in search for a better life, she moved. And as a result, I went to like 5 different high schools, moved around quite frequently. And thankfully, when I was 20, I joined the Air Force, which was one of the best choices I ever could have made in life. And through the Air Force is where I met my husband, Don. We both had been through a unpleasant first marriage, and we both had been left, and so we knew what it was like to be left. And we when we met each other, and we had a good foundation, a godly foundation, and built our life together, and it just, God has worked wonders. It was a really broken path up until I think I met my husband. And God started putting the pieces together with us the more we surrendered to him.
Nice. Jill, did you have siblings?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have an older brother and an older sister. My sister we're very close. She's in Maryland and she's married. They do not have kids. My brother, I'm also close with. I just don't see him as much. He's in Maryland and he's got two daughters. And so I have two nieces, and I absolutely love and adore them. My brother's family lives a very busy life, and being the distance, it's hard to see them. And then my dad is in Maryland. I sadly haven't seen him since COVID. I'm waiting for him to give me the green light so I can go, and I'll go visit everybody when I go. And my mom is here locally, so I get to see my mom on a regular basis, which is a blessing.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. So you mentioned that when you met Don, you both had a good godly foundation. I'm assuming somewhere in between your difficult childhood and going into the military. Like, tell us how you met the Lord.
It's an interesting path. It's not a path of I was saved and life was great. That it didn't happen for me that way. When I was 18, I still remember clear as anything. Kim Bailey, a friend of mine, led me to the Lord, and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior. And I remember it vividly. Again, I was 18, and I went to youth with her quite a few times after that. She was in a youth group. And I have no idea. I mean, there was nothing that went wrong with our relationship, but she quit inviting me. And when she quit inviting me, I quit going. And I had nobody who had any knowledge of the Lord to walk beside me. So I went through quite a few, I guess, it's kind of like being in the wilderness. I mean, I knew God was in my heart, and I cannot tell you how many churches I went to, and just to anybody listening, that person who's sitting on the back row all by themselves, reach out to them, because I was that person that nobody reached out to. And it was that seed that kind of falls off, that doesn't get watered and doesn't get cultivated. And it really wasn't, even when Don and I first got together, we talked about God being the foundation of our relationship, but we really didn't make the commitment until my son was born. And then I didn't want my son to be sitting in churches his whole life trying to find the, godly direction. And it took me committing to learn in a caring church environment where my church family cared about my growth. And I knew that I had to commit, because I didn't realize in my younger years, there was that piece that I had to commit, and I had to learn, and I had to grow. So then when that all came together, we've been growing ever since.
And where were you during that time?
Well, when Don and I first got married, we were in Little Rock, Arkansas. And we went to a church in Little Rock. Then we went to Maryland, and that's where my son was born. My husband kept saying, wait till we get to San Antonio, wait till we get to San Antonio. Way back when, and nobody that went there is even there anymore, but he kept saying, Crestview Baptist Church in Windcrest. He kept saying, I can't wait to take you there. I can't wait to take you there. That was where he just loved the church and the people and the fellowship. And we got back to San Antonio because we wanted to be near his kids, which are here in San Antonio. And we started going to Crestview, and we just started getting plugged in. And what was interesting, though, about a year into it, I was still feeling a little bit low. I wasn't putting in, I was just sitting and getting. And God was feeding me, and I was loving it. And then I started feeling like I should know people closer. I should have more, I've been here for a while, and I'm not going out to lunch with people. I'm not doing things outside of church with people. And God, through studying and prayer and fellowship and Sunday school, I realized I was the one who had to reach out. So I started doing Awanas, and I started doing more with teaching Sunday school. And all of a sudden, God brought us friends that are still our dearest friends to this day. I mean, it's amazing how once you put that effort in, he meets you, and just, the rest, as they say, is history. So it's been a great journey.
So Jill, you mentioned earlier you joined the military. You were what, 20, I think you said?
Yes, ma'am.
What led you to join the military?
That's a really good question. I think I didn't have a lot of direction because of the dysfunction in my family, the moving a lot. I didn't have a lot of guidance from either of my parents. And I think I craved structure and discipline. And my brother had been in the Navy for 4 years, and he had told me, because I was thinking about going in the military, and he said, whatever you do, don't go in the Navy, go in the Air Force. You don't want to be on a boat out in the middle of nowhere, or a ship. I shouldn't have said boat, but I just, I went to school. I wasn't as focused, and I didn't do great in school. And I was really struggling. And I think, and then there's the other, that's kind of half of it. And the other half is I like the idea of serving my country and just being a part of defending the peace. I did not want to go to war, but I did want to be a part of defending the peace and defending our country. I have a patriotism deep in my soul that I think it was a combination of the two. And in retrospect, it was the best decision I ever could have made, because it really did give me structure and discipline. And, you know, I had the habit based on my mom moving us around so much. You just get up and move and you leave and you go on. And I realized, okay, this is how you stay and you fight through things and you get through things. And it was really, and it was also a family, a good family through the military. Some of, you know, my family, my best friend, who you guys have had the blessing to meet, Jill, we met in the Air Force. We've been friends for well over 30 years now. So
That's nice.
and I had the best job in the Air Force. I was a photographer, so I got to do a lot of wonderful things. It was by far a great career.
That sounds like a great career.